Hi, everyone, and welcome to my channel, the Kabbalistic Astrology podcast. It is amazing to have you here. This is my very beginning of the channel. This is my very first project on this, and I'll be glad to take you to this journey to talk about the Kabbalistic Astrology. I am Joseph Miranda. I'm a Kabbalistic astrologer. I've been studying Kabbalah for over 10 years now, and 5 years studying Kabbalistic astrology. This is going to be a series of 3 videos, and tonight we're going to start with the first one about conception, because everything begins with the conception. So look at the zodiac, the 12 houses of the zodiac. We're going to start from house number 5. House number 5 is the house of pleasure and the burst of energy and joy, and that's exactly what happens during the conception. The soul is chosen and comes to this world, chooses this body, chooses this people, this mom and dad, this connection, this chemical uh, reaction becomes the soul gets absorbed in, and there where everything becomes. That's very house number 5. There is the joy, explosion of pleasure. That's when the soul gets connected to the first stage of this creation. And then we move to house number 6. House number 6 is the physicality, is the first absorption of material with a spiritual, and then the union. That's house number 6. And then we move to the third month of gestation. That's house number 7. House number 7, the third month, is when the mom and the baby finally get to know each other, and there's the connection established. The mom is feeling there's something going on. 3 months gestation, she's pregnant. And she also hears for the first time the beating of the heart. So that's the self and the other, the first connection with the outside, with the other people, the first relationship ever created. Then we go through house number 8, where the baby already starts feeling its surroundings, and it's already acknowledging the reception between mom and baby. So that's the connection with other people's resources, which is your surrounding your mom. And that's when also the spiritual blockage starts opening, and then the baby goes to the next step with house number 5, house number 9. And then house number 9, that's where something very magical happens. That's when the angel that is assigned by the creator to stay with the soul all life long starts this communication. House number 9 is when the baby, the soul that just got into this piece of matter, becomes realizing and listening to this angel that's going to tell him or her the whole life, everything that's going to happen. So in the house number 9, that's when this connection gets established, and the soul starts getting in touch with its higher self and knows finally that it's not just a simple another step in this world. And there is a major project behind for this incredible soul that is huge, is immense. And this is the very first time in this lifetime that this soul is going to hear from this angel that nothing, the world will never be the same without this soul. This soul, you and I and everyone in this planet, we are super mega important. And that's when we get this awareness, when we are told by this angel that this soul has an amazing project. That's why it's reincarnating in this world. And then we move to house number 10, when the angel starts telling all the goals in life and everything that this soul is going to achieve and what's the direction of life it's going to go. And that's our mid-heaven. That's exactly what happens in astrology on house number 10. We discuss and we see the goals where we're going to, and that's what's discussed and told to this baby by this angel. And then we move to house number 11, where this angel explains all the scenery that is going to happen, all the relationship with the other people, and all the friends, and all the soul contracts that this soul has made prior to this incarnation, and it's everything laid out in front of this new soul in this world. So this soul gets to know from the angel all the relationships and everyone and everywhere that it's going, and what it's going to be making and creating in collaborating with the humanity. And then house number 12 happens. That gets murky, murky waters. That's when the soul is already hearing so much and knowing so much about its life. And it's when the angel starts telling how the life is going to end. So you see that the whole story happens from the house number 9 all to the way to the house number 12. That's just 4 houses. So the now house number 12, with everything gets murky, the baby gets more agitated and it gets moving, gets kicking. The mom's already feels a lot, the baby, and she knows that it's coming the time for this baby to be born. And the baby knows as well that it's coming the time that all this bubble, this this protection is going to end, and it's going to finally get in touch with its own self. So the angel, just before birth, touches the mouth, the upper lip of the baby. That's why we have this little sign over here. That's what is taught in Kabbalah and all the ancient texts. That's why we have this mark here, because the angel touches us and we forget everything that was told to us inside the uterus, inside the womb of our mom. And that's a very important step, because nothing gets deleted, nothing gets forgotten. It's actually in our subconscious. And in life, when we grow and many things happens and signs and people and situations, we're going to start remembering slowly what we came here for. And that happens because of free will. Because if you knew what you're going to do, what's going to happen, you're going to literally lose the sense of free will. So that's why everything gets erased from our consciousness, but it stays behind in our subconscious. So we will know in the future what measures to take, and we're going to start using our intuition and free will to get things done under our purpose in life in this lifetime. House number 12 is the first rupture of the veil. It's a rupture of the physical veil, and then you get into this world, the physical world. But at the same time, another veil, another curtain is drawn on us, and that's forgetting all what we came here to do for. That's what is this curtain doing. So the curtain comes in, the other curtain, physical curtain opens, and we are born, and we get into the horizon. We get into the raising sign at the moment of birth. That's our first expression of the physical self, of the house number 1. House number 1 is this is it. The physicality, the way you look at, the way your physical body is, how you come from the head toward the outside. That's Aries, the head of the zodiac, the house number 1. The first house is then your first reaction against something that you don't really want, because the soul, when it's in the upper world, there is no past, present, or future. It's just one linear time. But right now, you are in this matter, in this physical world, where everything is finite. And you know that when you're born. That's why the baby cries. That's why there's this all the drama that it is, because the skin is so fresh and outside for the first time. So it's the house number 1 really gets sensitive under the skin of this baby, and that's how incarnation it's happening. So the soul is finally getting, here I am waking up literally in this first world, in this first house, in this world. And then the baby moves forward to house number 2. House number 2 is when physicality happens, and then starts touching and starting thinking and feeling, this is mine, that is mine. That's the first position of your life that you already know. Oh, I want my bottle. I want my blanket. That's how it comes. And then comes house number 3. House number 3 is when the baby already knows its physicality. It's not that sensitive anymore. Already know his surroundings, what he wants, what he desires, what he has literally, and then starts the wanting to express that. and that's when the voice is developed. That's when the baby starts creating the first sounds and first everything, communicating with itself. That's house number 3. And I'm not saying that every house is 1 month, because of course there's no baby talking with 3 months old. I've never seen that, but it could happen. But no, the first 3 houses, actually, it's a whole expansion around the zodiac, physically speaking, but mentally speaking as well. And then baby starts talking, and that's reflection of the third house. The fourth house comes into play when this baby actually finds its roots and know where he is, know where he belongs, know moms and daddy. This is my mommy, this is my daddy, this is my place, this is my bed. That's when it starts growing its roots and learning physicality more, even more. Now belonging, I belong to this place. And then house number 5 happens. And that's where all the pleasure starts, like the tastes, developing the taste buds and knowing what fruit he likes and knowing what food he likes and the fresh water and everything else. That's all related to pleasure, and the cold and the warmth and everything starts very how home and pleasure and eating. And then house number 6 happens. Now house number 6 is a more routine way of becoming a person, becoming a baby with routines. And then the baby starts getting into the preschool, and now there's time for everything. And now you have to wake up this time, you have to go to school, you have to put your uniform on, you have to get your things done. And then it goes further into the house number 7, when it's not only the routine of going to school, but it's actually sharing with others. And that's the first relationship as a physical body, that you're already going outside of yourself and actually getting to know other people. That's when relationships get established in the mind of the baby and the child. And then house number 8 happens. House number 8 happens when you start sharing your resources with the outside world. And then there's something else that you already start having the feeling of losing things or earning things or sharing with others. That's house number 8. And that's also a certain spiritual opening that is happening already in the mind of this baby, whether he or she acknowledges or not. There is an opening already that's preparing the baby to move further to the house number 9. House number 9, when you're a kid, it's more reflected on the learnings, on the teachings in the school that you are. That's why it's very important to know the kind of school that your kids are, because that's the first higher learning, higher experience of learning. And then that's when also there's a deeper contact with the soul. You're not only learning the physical things, learning history, learning math, learning philosophy, but you are also getting your intuition into place. And that's coming the way of, oh, I love this subject, I love that subject. And the interests of higher learning start being acquired by this soul. And then you move to the house number 10. The child with the house number 10, or a little mature already, a little bit more learned, so already kind of start getting plans and dreams for the future. What direction am I going to go? What do I want to be when I grow up? Where do I go from here? That's house number 10. And that's marked in our chart every year of our lives. Every year we go through this process again, and we rethink where we want to go, what are our goals, or what are our objectives. And then the back mind, the subject, it starts bringing up everything that we learned from that angel before, that you have to go somewhere. There's a purpose in life. Then you go to house number 11, where you're already in school, you're already thinking about the future, and then lots of friends happens. Friendships in school, in college, university, that's when you start spreading yourself more than what you did at home or your family or with your first schoolmates when you were a child. Now you're becoming more relatable and more related with everyone and everything around you. That's house number 11. That's when friendships are established. That's even when business partners get to know them in college and then becomes a business plan or something. That's the house number 11. And then towards that age, after you already know that you want to get somewhere, you already know about your higher self, some things about your higher self, you already have the intuition, you got your friends, and then you have so many things to compare, and then go through that phase on house number 12, where you question everything, where you feel lost, you don't know if you're doing the right thing, you feel anxious. That's when anxiety now gets downloaded to us. That's when things start not getting our way and we want certain way. That's house number 12, where confusion and some darkness comes to our life. But luckily and hopefully, we're not going to be delve into much negativity, but that's a process that everybody goes through. And then we get in touch with ourselves again on the house number 1. That's the birthday happens. That's when everything you reconnect with yourself, you reconnect with action taking, and then you start knowing a little bit more of what you really want, of what of whom you really are. That's you in touch again with house number 1. And then house number 2 happen again, the second house, which brings you to getting into possessions, that you want a car, you want your own house, you want to move out, you want your own apartment, and then the another acquisition level comes now a little bit more directed because you already probably have studied something or have a direction of business or work that you want to do in life. So that's when everything gets start to get a little bit more squared, and you know now that you want to earn or own things. That's house number 2. And house number 3, finally, in a young mind, it's when you unite house number 1, that you already know who you are, house number 2, you know what you want to acquire or get or what your values are, and house number 3, finally, you unite these 3 points and you want to communicate to the world who you are. So that's our first video. We're talking about a child since the conception, and we're walking all the way to house number 3, when you unite all these mixtures of textures, of things that you have learned and that you have experienced while you were young. And then finally, you're an adult and starts communicating to the world who you really are. So this was video number 1. In the next video, we're going to talk about all the houses again, but as an adult, and how the Kabbalistic astrology applies to our lives through the Kabbalah lenses, through the spirituality lenses, and integrating all the planets and the houses and everything that's going to fulfill our destiny, that's going to be laying the grounds for us to choose how to fulfill our destiny right here. Remember that the stars, they 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 will give you the energy, they will push you, but the final resolution, the final decision is yours. There's nothing above us. Your free will, your what you want, it's what's going to happen. So that's why it's important to know all your chart, all the 12 houses and the planets and how the aspects place around our lives. So if you know the way, if you know how the way is paved, you will make better decisions in your life. Again, my name is Joseph Miranda. I am a Kabbalistic astrologer, and you can subscribe to this video. Please subscribe, and the next video is going to come next week, and I'll be happy to share and answer any questions that you might have. You just put it down here in the comments. So I'll see you next time. Bye.